Alright, here we go with your guys' favorite chapter, chapter 12, circles. The first thing it's asking for is a major arc. And remember, a major arc needs to be more than half of the circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick from B all the way to C all the way over to G. So B, C, G would be my answer for a major arc. A minor arc has to be less than 180. So a minor arc here, I'm just going to pick BE as my answer. And a semicircle, exactly half of a circle, so I'm going to go from K to C to G. K to C to G. Not sure why I sneeze in almost every video. Okay, so anyway, there can of course be more than one answer. And then for a central angle, I'm going to just go BDE as a central angle. Angle BDE. And for an inscribed angle, I only see one. So I'm going to go from K to G to C. Angle K, G, C. That's the one that just popped out of me. Okay, so now let's solve for some angle measures. The first thing I'm going to do is write in what I know. I know if this is a central angle that this must be 82 as well. All right, and I know that if this is 47 and it's an arc, its central angle must also be 47. Okay, and if I know that if this is 62, then this piece right here is going to be 180 minus 62, which will give me 118. So knowing that information, let's see if we can't solve for some of this. The first thing it says is solve for the measure of HMI, angle HMI. So angle HMJ is right here. And if you notice, that intercepts the semicircle, and it's an inscribed angle, so it would be half of the semicircle, which should be 90 degrees. All right, and then we're going to look at MHJ. MHJ. Well, we figured out already that this was 118. This is an inscribed angle. Its vertex is on the side of the angle. So it technically intercepts this arc right here. So an inscribed angle is half as much as its arc measure. So 118 divided by 2, and that would give me 59 degrees. And then there's KL, arc KL. Well, if this is 47 and this is 82, I would do 180 minus 47 minus 82, and I would get 51 for the measure of arc KL. And then it wants arc HLJ. HLJ, well, that right there, folks, is a semicircle, so that I instantly know is 180. And then arc LJM. LJM. Well, what I'm going to do is go all the way from L to J to M, which here this is 82 and JM is 118, so 82 plus 118 and get 200 degrees. All right, let's continue on. Okie doke, so the first thing that we're going to need to do is solve for x. Okay, and it gives us two angles, angles BAC, which is right here, and angle BDC, which is right here. They intercept the same arc, so those angles are equal to each other. That means I can take 9x plus 14 and set it equal to 15x minus 22. All right, I will subtract 9x and get 14 equals 6x minus 22, and then I'll add 22 to both sides and get 36 equals 6x. I'll divide by 6 and divide by 6 and get x equals 6. All right, then it wants me to solve for arc BC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this x and I'm going to plug it into either of these, it doesn't matter, to find angle BAC. So I'm going to do 9 times 6, so this would be angle BAC, plus 14, 54 plus 14, and I would get 68. Okay, so this angle is 68, but don't forget the arc is always twice as much as the angle. So I'm going to do 68 times 2, and I'm going to get 136 degrees. So I'm going to need to multiply this by 2 because the arc is always twice as much as the inscribed angle. Okay. Next thing I need to do is figure out the measure of angle MAT. All right. MAT is down here. Well, it's an inscribed. If this is a central angle, I know this is 122. All right. So if that arc is 122 and this is the inscribed angle, I would take 122 and divide it by 2 to get the inscribed angle. The inscribed angle is always half as much as the arc, and I would get 61 degrees. So if this arc is 122, this inscribed angle is half as much. Okay, let's solve for down here, this one. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. I know that this will be 13 because it's a radii, and I know that this is 10. I need to figure out what this is. So I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for that side. All right, it's going to be x squared plus 10 squared equals 13 squared. All right, x squared plus 100 equals 169. I'll subtract 100 and get x squared equals 169. Take the square root, take the square root. X equals 8.31. But don't write 8.31 as your answer. It wants the entire distance. So I need to take 8.31 and multiply it by 2. And when I do that, I will get 16.61. Okay, so now these ones you just need to keep track of. If they're coming from a point and touching corresponding parts on the circle, they're congruent to each other. So if this is 10, then this is 10. And if this is 14, then this is 14. And if this is 9, then this is 9. And if this is 8, then this is 8. I need to add up all of these sides together. So 10 plus 10 plus 14 plus 14 plus 9 plus 9 plus, whoops, sorry, I'm not sure why I wrote 9 there when that should be 8. Plus 8 plus 8, and when I add them all together, I get 82. Okay, moving along in the circles. This is where the study guide gets a little confusing and you need that fill-in page that I gave you. It says write the equation of an equation of a circle in standard form given the center is -8, 9, and the radius is 12. So the equation for a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals your radius squared. All right, well, you always have to do the opposite of the signs that they give you for the center. So I'm going to have x plus 8 squared plus y minus 9 squared equals my radius squared, which should be 144. Okay, now here I need to find my center, which should be a +4 and a -7, the opposite of what's shown. And then my radius, I'm going to take the square root of 18, which is either 3 rad 2 or 4.2. And then it says, write the equation of a circle in standard form given the equation. All right, this is where we are going to complete the square here. So I'm going to rewrite this, x squared plus 12x plus a number I'm going to create, plus y squared minus 4y plus a number I'm going to create equals, I'm going to move that 12 over. Negative 12. And those two numbers that I create, I need to plug them into this side as well. So in order to find those two numbers, I'm going to take this, 12, divide it by 2, and then I'm going to square it. So 6 squared, and I'm going to get 36. So a 36 is going to go right here, and a 36 is going to go right here. And I'm going to take this one, divide it by 2, negative 4 divided by 2, and I'm going to square that as well, which will be negative 2 squared, which will be 4. So 4 is going to go here and here. All right, this is my equation. All right, right here, all I need to do is add these numbers, and that will give me my radius, which will be 28. But I need to factor this. And in order to factor that, I'm just factoring this section and this section by looking at that middle number again and simply dividing it by 2. So I'm going to have x and then 12 divided by 2 plus 6 squared plus y, looking at this middle number, dividing it by 2, which is negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2, and squaring it. And that is completing the square. And that's chapter 12. One more chapter, guys.